Hey everyone, and welcome to Are We Doing This? I'm Lauren Parajon.
And I'm Lauren Butler.
We're two millennial moms on the brink of 40, looking for new ways to shake things up.
We're here to challenge ourselves, each other, and you to get out of our comfort zones and try something new.
So if you've caught yourself wondering, what's next? You're in the right spot.
So are we doing this?
Looks like it. Let's get into it.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to Are We Doing This? Today is episode 20. And you are in store today for an Are We Okay episode, which is basically where we just cover the big things that are on our mind and that we are occupied with these days, topics we want to talk about, or just things that are on our mind. So we're happy to have you. Welcome.
It's kind of like a mental health check for all of us and you guys. So in this series, I think we'll kind of touch on, it could be funny things, it could be just things that are upcoming, or it could be current and kind of saddening, depressing things. So we'll try not to let it get too down, but you know what, the world is what it is right now, so we have to talk about it. So I think it would be, if we're going to talk about Are We Okay and our mental health, it would be weird to not give space to what's happening in the US right now. I know for me, probably for you, we feel a little bit in a safe bubble since we're in kind of a blue or just progressive states or cities, communities and whatnot. But that doesn't mean it's not happening, and that I just feel like we should talk about how we're feeling about this and where we're at right now and how we're feeling. So
it's wild. I know. It's really we in our family have been struggling so much with, like, for us, it's been this like slow, for everybody, it's been this slow slide of like shocking yet not surprising things happening. And every time that it levels up and and it grows, it's like, shoot, like, is this the time? Like, is it now? Is it now? Is it now? Like, when are we all admitting that we're just in a dumpster fire? Like, like, how much worse is it going to get? Is this the thing we feared? Or like, it's a weird mental exercise to have to go through, like, just how wild it is. And then, like, we were talking about it, and I was thinking about for your family, Lauren, like, you guys your parents are immigrants, and like
my dad is
your dad is
and my husband is an immigrant from the UK. It is real. I mean, did that influence how I voted? Of course it did. So, like, everyone has different perspectives. But I feel like we all have our reasons for voting the way we did, and that played into mine, right? And I have just been really afraid of, like, the fear this will stoke in the communities to, like, because my whole fear has always been, like, how this administration will empower the hatred of immigrants. And so, one day someone could call someone on us and be like, they're brown or they're, And so my husband is half Pakistani, so he's, darker than most in this community anyway, because it is pretty white here. But I don't know, just like the other day we're at this kid's birthday party, and it was this adorable little girl, little Hispanic girl, and it was all of her family, and it felt like the whole Hispanic community in Fort Collins was there. It was awesome. Like, it was man, what a good party. Like, the piñata and just, like, the food is so good. And and then I remember having, like, this fear. I was, like, watching every vehicle that pulled up to the park. Like, what if ICE wanted to just come, like, raid this party, And so every car that pulled up, I'm looking, like, who's approaching this party? Who are these people? And I'm like, that's ridiculous that's where we are right now. Like, and I feel like, I mean, I'm white presenting, so, like, I feel like I feel a little safer but I shouldn't feel like I'm any more safe than another citizen. Like, my husband is a citizen, my dad is a citizen, and just, like, it is just insane to me. It's blowing my mind. It's like, we read all these, the mistakes of the past and in history and how these regimes took over, and we always think, like, how did anyone let this happen? And then to know, like, this is how, like, it's happening. And at what point do we admit it, like, or do people, like, and so that's another thing. I think we've been talking about how we kind of have this paralysis around it. Like, what can we do? And you were saying, like, oh, it's not surprising every time something else happens, but it's like, so we're getting numb to all these horrible things happening. and they are getting worse. And then it's like, well, now I don't even know where to start. Like, I don't even know where to start. And it's paralyzing. And it's like you also have to like, some people are like, you have to protect your peace. You have to like protect your mental health and try not to let all these things get to you. But it's like, well, I don't want to be ignorant to it and not think about it. I have to think about it.
I also want to know.
Yeah.
I have, I know you probably know, I'm a fan of Glennon Doyle, the author and podcaster. And I went to see her recently because she was touring for her new book, and she was talking about this, and she was like, I know that it's hard. I know we're all frozen, and we have been for a while, and that's understandable and it's fair. And now is the time. Like, we've all been frozen for a while now. Like, now's the time that we pick a lane and we do something, you know? And I thought that was so interesting. It was like the way she said it was more eloquent, but it was like very validating of like, yes, we have to protect ourselves, and it's impossible, and also we have to like move while we're also feeling that way. And just talking also about picking a lane, like even if it's not going to a protest, or if it's not, you know, whatever that looks like for you, it can just be one side of this fight that you can pick to like have an impact on, even if it's just donating money or donating time or whatever that looks like. And in my family, we've been trying to figure out what that is for us too. There's a group that Glennon Doyle works with, actually, who go in and help fund and protect and provide support for kids who are having to represent themselves in immigration court right now.
Like, you didn't have to say that? Like,
she's telling these stories of going herself and seeing firsthand these 2 and 5 and 6-year-old kids alone. And because some of the slashes to the budgets, there usually are advocates, like court advocates, who help kids like that. Yeah. And there aren't any. And so these kids are literally representing themselves in court. It's just so heartbreaking, and the humanity is just totally gone. And the way, just the way they're snatching people up off the streets, and
like they tried to make us think we're only going after the criminals. We're only going after these people who've done like really bad, like horrible crimes. And it's like, they're like, we're just getting the murderers off the streets. And I'm like, no, you're literally snatching moms and babies. Like, they didn't do anything. And they're like, well, it's a crime. It's like, it's not actually a crime to be here illegally. It's not a crime. It's not a federal crime. It's like, oh God, it just makes me livid. And the fact that people are getting snatched, even if they have been here the legal way and are a citizen. It's like, so it's like, if they'll do that to a citizen, then none of us are safe. So that's what really
and the approach, the whole like these plainclothes agents, the weirdness, they're not showing like, warrants, there's no due process.
They're showing up at thugs. Hearings. The people who are doing it legally and going to their hearings. And they just know they can target them that way.
Okay. It's so upsetting. I know.
But did you see footage? I know neither of us attended a No Kings protest. It was part of the protection.
I wanted to.
I was scared to. Like, look, I'm being honest. I was scared to. Yeah. Like, I saw someone post in a Facebook group in my area that was like, hey, where will the No Kings protests be? And a lot of people were replying, but then someone clicked on his profile and saw that he was like anti-trans and probably was just trying to figure out where the protests will be so he can go stir up some shit. And I was like, that's the hardest part about this is I want to help, but I also don't want to put myself in danger, myself and my family in danger when these kinds of protests could spark, you know, like hate crimes. So I just...
Well, and even like hate crimes in a group setting, is scary.
Right.
But the also being brown, like if I go, you have a layer of fear about you and your family that I don't, right? Where like if I'm a white lady there, like it's a very different situation. Obviously if somebody like drives a car into a crowd, we're all like whatever. But like if ICE shows up or if people who are targeting, it's just like, it's crazy. We were going to go, and then with my friend in town, the guys were doing something that day, and so I was kind of on kid duty, and I didn't feel up to taking all of them by myself. Didn't think that was wise.
No.
But they had a lot of really good a lot of good turnout at some of the ones around here, which was so encouraging to see and powerful, and it's validating to just be like, okay, it can feel so lonely being on the other side of your phone.
Hundreds of thousands of people that are fighting.
Scrolling and seeing these stories, and it can feel lonely, like what the hell is happening, and then just to see that you're not the only one filled with this rage and nowhere to put it,
Right.
It's like in a weird way.
The videos of the protests, of the No Kings protests, I like felt this weird spark of hope after I watched those. Because there was one that was just the back-to-back of all the cities. The turnout, like Chicago, was insane.
Huge.
That was so many people that turned up for this. And I'm like, okay, this proves, it just helps me feel validated that the current administration does not represent the people, like, in how we feel.
What I want to know is like where I saw like Gavin Newsom and some other, I think I saw some clips from Pete Buttigieg.
Buttigieg.
Is that how you say his name?
Buttigieg.
But I'm like, where are the Democratic leaders that we need right now to
I do not know.
Organize us?
And
like make this.
Yeah.
Like we need to organize like a resistance
some are speaking
to this,
out, but you're right. No one's really organizing. Like, because some are, like I've seen some videos of some of the hearings that go on, and they are like literally saying to these, like, you do not know what you're doing. Please tell me where it states in this, and this thing you're trying to pass that it wouldn't. And they don't know what they're just bumbling, and it's like people are calling them out, but no one's organizing, and no one's like,
don't have
we need someone to tell us what to do. Like, I need Beto to step up and be like, follow me.
Yes.
And I will.
Yeah. Or somebody. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's like, what is the, it's like debilitating. It's like, I don't know where to start. I don't know what to say. I don't even know. It's so hard. And so there's two things I saw in addition to the Glennon Doyle thing, which I thought was helpful to just be like, okay, pick a lane and do something.
Yeah.
I saw a video. I follow the New York Times, and I admit that my news sources are probably biased because that's mostly my news sources, the New York Times. But there was an opinion columnist, and he has covered a lot of like authoritarian regimes and stuff in history. And he was like, the phase we're in right now, this is what you were talking about, is like normalization. Like now when these things happen, it used to be like, do you remember he referenced like the first travel ban and in Trump's first presidency, they were predominantly from Muslim countries, and everybody was like in such an uproar about that. Yeah. But now it's happened again and again and again. He's about to do another one, and we're all just like, like it's normal now.
Can't stop him.
And how scary that is. That now we like the things that are happening are just becoming normalized, which is scary. Also, I don't know.
The fact that, like, the president of the United States is having Twitter fights, Twitter fights, and trolling people. I'm like, that's not your job.
I know.
It's literally like
that part doesn't surprise me.
It doesn't, but I'm like, it's wild. It makes me so ashamed of how the rest of the world thinks of us, because it's like, oh my God, their president is literally tweeting at like bullying a billionaire who's like, it's shameful. It's so embarrassing.
Really bad. And really not to mention, while all of this is happening with protests and them sending out National Guards and Marines and all of that, it's like they're also behind the scenes, well, not that behind the scenes, but trying to slash Medicaid and pass these bills that are going to remove healthcare for so many people. It's just a really scary time, and it's hard to know what to do.
Right. Yeah.
I was like, and then in addition to that, like everything happening in the Middle East, and like, I just was like, the other day I was texting with you guys, and I was on a doom scroll hole. And I was watching these horrible stories of like kids surviving fires and being left without being orphaned, and just like the most awful crap that's happening. And it seeps into you. You watch these stories over and over and over again. And then my kids, like that day I had been on like a long binge that I probably went too deep of like depressing stuff. And then my husband went to take my kids to get donuts, and they always go to this like same donut place. And there's this old like Eastern European man, I'm not sure where from exactly, who owns it and runs it. And he's like so friendly. And every time they come in, he's like super sweet to them. He like gives them free milk, and he lets them come behind the counter and like pick out the donut they want.
That's cute.
And anyway, I don't know if this story is interesting, but he took them to the donut store that morning, and it was like the last week of school. So Elliot was going to get a donut for her teacher. She had asked her teacher, like, what's your favorite donut flavor? And then she was going to bring her one the next day. And this guy was like, I guess she told the guy at the donut shop, I'm getting this for my teacher. And he thought that was cool. So he gave her a whole box of like that kind of donut.
Yeah.
So instead of just one, he gave her like a dozen.
Yeah.
And he was like, here, bring this to your teacher. It was just really cute. And he was retelling me this story. And I just
lost it.
Broke down.
Yeah.
I just like wept. I was like,
it's like there is beauty in the world. He was like,
but that's
somewhere.
like a good thing. I was like, I know.
Yeah, I know.
And like,
but it's so rare now.
It's the kindness that kills you. Like I had been absorbing all that crap and then like something beautiful happens and I just lost my mind. I was like, it's the kindness that kills you. I don't know. But yeah, just that there is still kindness in the world and people do still care. And same with like seeing people show up to these protests, I think is really moving to be like, okay, we're not as alone as we are led to believe that we are.
Yeah.
And yeah, we need a leader.
Yeah.
We need someone we need a plan. We need a leader. It's just really terrifying.
Okay, so now that we've brought it down, all the way down. I'm sorry.
All the way down.
It would be,
I know.
We have to talk about it. We can't not.
One of the things I want to ask listeners is like, all of our listeners.
All of her.
And my mom and my 3 friends.
My sister-in-law listens.
What are you guys doing? Like, are you finding ways to pick a lane and do something that makes you feel like you're doing something to help people or just makes you feel better? Like, have you found ways? I mean, obviously, I think we can find resources to know what to do and where to give money, but I'm just curious how people are figuring out that balance between like protecting yourself and finding some modicum of peace and also taking action. So I don't know.
Like my friend Stephanie,
she
said that like, 'cause she's a teacher and she's like, I'm signing up to be a foster parent because if these kids need me I will take them in. But to sign up, you have to just open yourself to anyone. It can't just be the kids from this. So she's like, so we're doing all the paperwork to become foster family. And I was like, oh my God, that's doing something. Like that's awesome. But yeah, what can I do? I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. It's a lot. Okay. Well, on that front, moving along.
What's your next topic? Do you want to start?
My next thing? Okay. So summer with my kids all the time. We were just talking about this. Long days. You know, I'm trying to get ahead of all the on boards. And so many snacks, man. What is it with summer appetite? They just want to eat all day.
I was like,
I cannot stop. I can't buy them fast enough. Yeah, the snacks that are out of control. And I just saw this. Okay, so this is a thing I saw on TikTok. I should probably find it so we could like stitch it or whatever. This mom, and she was like, I was just realizing that I was just reflecting and realizing that every time I talk to my daughter, she had 2 kids, she had a baby and a toddler. And she was like, her older one, she's like, every time I speak to my older one, I'm just coming from this place of being like annoyed. Like, even if it's like, I'm happy, I'm like low level annoyed. Like, yes, what?
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
And I just like said, I feel like I'm at an 8 always. Like I'm at an 8, mostly because I was PMSing, but it could just be that it's summer and the kids are home. But I was like, I'm at an 8 because I'm trying to get my work done and trying to get my cakes done and trying to keep the house somewhat clean. And the second they ask one thing, like, hey, mom, what do you want? What do you want? Like, it just sends me to a 10. Like, and I feel bad. I feel bad because it's not fair to the kids.
She's like, and I feel like I just always come at them with this tone of like either being annoyed or just exhausted, right? Like exasperated, like just what do you want, or like what, oh god, and man, that hit me in the gut so hard. I was like, that's me, like 100%. And she was like, and I just was thinking about it the other day, and like I get it, and like we all have so much on us and we're doing so many things, but especially with 2 kids, like the only way I spoke to the baby was like, oh, you're so sweet, and like you're the, whatever, like with sweet tones, right. And she's like, and I was just thinking about it, and like it's just mean. Like I just felt mean. Like it felt mean to my older kid. Like all she wants is for me to like her. Like, and not just love her, but like her. That's like all she wants in the world. And anyway, she was like, so I just decided to stop. Like I just stopped speaking to her like that. And she was like, and it's made this huge difference in our relationship and just how she also responds to me. And anyway, there's more to it. I should share it, but I'm
just wondering how you just stop though. Like, cause then you'd have to like try to figure out how to bring, my 8 down to a 4 so that when they do something that pisses me off, it's not a 10, it's a 6.
Well, I think that's the thing. She was like, a lot of times in the morning, I'm really short with my kids because I'm exhausted. And she's like, that's on me. Like, wake up earlier and like be more like, take it upon myself to like not be in that state,
right?
And I'm like, well, yeah. I mean, there's going to be days, I'm sure, where you're still not great at it. But just this idea of like taking responsibility for not being at it, managing myself so that I'm not always like hovering at an 8. And then I can be there in a way to them, for them in a different way. But I mean, hey, I'm not one to like, I certainly didn't want to share it from a place of like, I never want to be misinterpreted as like mom shaming because believe me, like I get it. Like
well, so as soon as you said you want to talk about this, I was like, oh, I know. I'm going to feel judged 100%. No. But it's just like, we all do it. And we all do it.
And that's how it feels sometimes.
Find coping ways, like you said, like if it's just that you're just now waking up, get up earlier, have your coffee earlier so that you're then more present. I think I know, and I've talked about this how many thousand times, is that I'll get into my phone, right? I'll be scrolling, of course. And when I think about it, I'm like, this has no importance to my kids' lives. Like what I'm doing right now, reading about so-and-so's kid doing, I'll be like deep in a story. And then if my kid wants to ask me something, I'm annoyed because I didn't get to finish what I was scrolling. But I'm like, why does this matter? This doesn't matter at all. When I could just give my kid my full, like all my attention. So I know that obviously what we've talked about this, one thing I could do is just, get off my phone. But I wonder like what other like tips there are to like, I don't know.
Well, and it's nicer. Just like speaking, like, I think I also realize that it's almost like a stance you take. Like it's almost a habit. Like I just get in kind of this like position towards my kids of just being like exhausted and a little annoyed by them like all the time. And then I notice that I kind of presume it like before they've even done anything, and I just like, and it's just like the position I take towards my kids. And I think that's the part I'm just trying to like unconnect in my brain so that I can try to come at them a little bit more openly and like speak more kindly to them and not just assume that whatever they're about to say is going to annoy the shit out of me.
That makes sense.
You know what I mean? And then trying to just speak kindly. It doesn't mean I let them get away with stuff. It doesn't mean like stuff is okay, but it just means like
you start with
start from a place
here's
that's
my
like
attention.
And like you haven't done anything wrong. Like I'm not annoyed by you. Like the other day I was having a rough week or something and like I don't know, both the kids were screaming or whatever and Elliot was trying to go to bed and I like stopped or I said something to her and I was like, Elliot. And she looked at me and she goes, sorry, are you annoyed? And I was like, oh, it like broke my heart because she was like, oh, are you annoyed? No, that's not what she said. She said, am I being annoying?
Oh, okay.
Which I think hit me harder because she was like, I'm sorry, am I being annoying? And I was like, oh my God, like you think that I think that about you all the time, Anyway, kind of broke my heart. I was like, no, you're not annoyed. No, you're 7, like.
That's a good that's a good just lesson for everyone to, especially in the summer months when we are trying to make, but that's the hard part is like, I'm trying to make summer fun for them too. Like I want, so then I'm like, all right, just give me these 2 hours to knock out this work so that we can then have fun time. Right. And it's like, but during those 2 hours, like anything even though I'm like, I said, give me 2 hours, like, then they'll, how much longer? Or like, can I have this? Can I do that? And it's, or they'll fight about something. And it's just like, and then I'm like mean mom, and then it's like not fun mom, and then it's like, well, maybe it's hard. To the pool. Like,
damn it, we're gonna have fun. Damn it, and maybe it is having that routine though, and maybe they just need to get used to it. Like once they know you're always gonna do those 2 hours, like it might be painful in the beginning, and they might be like, what's the deal? But I'm the same way where because I'll like tinker with things, even my work or on my phone, like kind of all day, and then I'm kind of doing it half on, half off all day, and I just feel like maybe it would help more if I did it like that, where I'm like, okay, it's quiet time. And we also like, how are your kids with reading? Because Elliot's actually gotten into like the summer reading challenges and stuff. Really? So I try to use that. We have them like, I have a little corner in our living room where I taped up the like little charts you get from the library, where they get to fill them in when they read. And then I've actually got little bins like they have in her classroom, like book bins. It's amazing what a book bin did. That girl was like, oh, it's just like, it lit her up. She was like so excited to have it like the way it is in her classroom, I was like, oh geez, I had no idea that was going to be so successful. So she's kind of, at least right now, into like reading time. Yeah. And that buys me a little bit of quiet time. Yeah. Sometimes.
Havana loves to read. But obviously just learned. She just finished kindergarten, so she's still on the lower level books. So I don't think I can get her into a chapter book yet. She's not like
independently reading. Yeah,
she is, but like she will go read like by herself, which is nice.
Okay, great.
Harvey has no interest. Like he would rather be playing sports or watching sports, or he just has no interest. We tried to get him like sports books. We tried to get him like books about LeBron, about Cristiano Ronaldo, and like he'll read them once and then he's not interested after that. So
has he ever tried like graphic novels? Has he ever gotten into that?
Yeah, we gave him some Dogman and some like he's just not interested in reading, which is fine. Not everyone has to be. Fine. It breaks my heart a little because I am
because you're such a reader.
But I can tell Havana is going to be a reader for sure, so that's exciting. But not everyone has to do the same things. But that's true. But if they get them in the routine, and as like I said, right now having this camp is so like now I can be a fun mom as soon as they get home and I'm like happy but it's sad that I have to say my kids have to be away from me for however many hours for me to then be fun mom.
That's not sad. You're a human.
That's long. I think like a 8 to 12 would be all I need. 8 to 12. This one goes till 4. This is very long. So but I'm trying to, like you said, just knock everything out that I can. But I have that guilt that I'm only fun mom if I get a big break from them.
Well, you shouldn't feel guilty. We all need a break from each other.
Exactly. We're human.
And just to downtime, it just is what it is. Especially, and then summer is just extra of everything. Extra.
I think that's a good reminder for everybody to try to find come at your kids from a place of a 0 instead of
and even like right after I saw that, like the next day I tried it. I really embraced it and just like spoke kindly right away and tried not to assume like that I was a stance of being annoyed. Yeah. And I felt better too, frankly. Like I was just like, like it was a little bit like acting the part, like faking it to make it a little bit. Right. But then I was like, I felt less annoyed.
It's nice not to have to be annoyed by them all day. That makes sense. Yeah. Well, it's like my son has lost his 3rd pair of glasses. Okay. And it's
Speaking
just like,
of not being annoyed.
Like the first 2 he lost pretty quickly. And like, to be fair, he was like in 1st grade, but now I'm like, you're 8 years old. Every morning, like, wear your glasses. And usually he knows where they are, usually. And so like we were at the cabin this weekend. We came home this morning. And he didn't have his glasses on at the lake, right? Because you don't wear glasses at the lake. And so this morning, I'm like, where are your glasses? And he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, I don't know either. And then it's like, my husband's like, I thought I saw them. And so then I'm just like mad at, well, now you're going to go blind probably. Like, I don't say that obviously, but in my head, I'm just like, how can I instill in him like that these are his responsibility? Like, but then again, I lose things every day. So I can't, like, I have to remind myself that like, I don't know where that pair of shoes are. So like, I can't harp on him. So this morning was a struggle to not be like so mad at him. When I also saw his glasses at some point at the cabin and I should have put them in the bag and now they might be at the cabin. So I don't know when we'll go get them. But anyway, yes, it's a good reminder to just like maybe take a breath before we
jump to that place. What? Like that.
What do you want?
What is it? That TikTok, the mom that was like she goes, what? And then she's like, what? Yeah. She kept trying to like change it. And
what?
She can't. It's so great.
Like, oh, I'm sorry. What?
Sorry. What?
Okay. Well, speaking of TikTok, my next topic is, and I know I've mentioned this before, but I am so much more convinced now that I have Ehlers-Danlos. Okay.
You think so?
The first time a TikTok came across, well, my sister had sent it to me and she was like, oh my God, you have this, because it was talking about like weirdly stretchy skin and like
joints,
hypermobility joints and stuff, right? So I guess since I watched that one, now I get a lot, once you get in the algorithm, then, so I'm in like Ehlers-Danlos talk. And this one I saw like yesterday or 2 days ago, she was like, hey, for people who have Ehlers-Danlos, put in the comments what your weirdest symptom is. And I started reading them and I was like, holy shit, all of these could be related to Ehlers-Danlos. Like, okay, so if you eat a crunchy piece of bread, the roof of your mouth might get a little torn up. Or does it not? Mine gets shredded. Like, I cannot eat a piece of sourdough. Anytime I have like toasted bread on a sandwich, I have to flip the bread over so that the soft side is what touches the roof of my mouth.
Because it will like shred. Sour Patch Kids?
No, or like Captain Crunch. No, like shreds the roof of my mouth. And I thought that happened to everybody. Like I really thought this was normal.
That's
except
crazy.
My sister would make fun of me because we would eat the same. We would both have this toast, and I would be like, "Oh my God, my mouth is destroyed," and she'd be like, well, "Mine's not. Like it's fine."
Oh my gosh.
So that can be from Ehlers-Danlos. So that's one thing. then I saw that insomnia can be from Ehlers-Danlos. And I was like, wait a second. So maybe that's what that's from. Then I heard someone saying like earphones hurt their ears, whether they use the earbuds or the headphones. And I thought everyone's
You've
hurt.
had that issue too.
Yeah, like doesn't it hurt? Like this doesn't hurt? Even the in-ear ones, it doesn't hurt?
No.
Okay, that blows my mind.
Does this always hurt you?
Always hurts. Like if I'm trying to listen to a book on tape, when I finally take them off, it's like a throbbing relief. Like it takes a while to go back to normal. Like,
oh my gosh.
And I really thought that was everybody. You know, like when you have like an experience, you don't know that that's not everyone's
you just
experience.
think everybody does that. Oh my gosh.
And like the inner ear ones, like those hurt so much. Like those like, and someone in this comment, they said it dents their ears. I'm like, maybe that's what's happening. It's like reforming my ear. Like it hurts. Okay, so that's
wild.
Another one was temperature intolerance. Like if I get hot or cold, you've been around me when I get cold because I realized I have Raynaud's because like like my feet, if my feet get cold, they will literally turn yellow and go numb. Like, and it's not even that cold. Yeah, you remember that dreaded
bachelorette party. It was my bachelorette party, and poor Lauren. Well, also you were wearing boots.
To be fair, I was wearing very shitty boots, a very shitty little jacket
that were not functional, and there was an ice storm. It was like February.
Yeah,
but still, your feet were not in a good place.
I did not protect myself, but my feet, like I was like, guys, we have to stop. I had to buy like those warm pads that go in my shoes. Like, I was in so much pain and numb. So that could be from this. Could not, maybe. It says joint dislocation. I have dislocated my shoulders so many times. I can't even remember how many times. It hasn't happened more recently. Yeah, but like all up through college, like it would come out while I was batting or pitching a softball. Or one time I remember I was just turning my car wheel, my steering wheel, and it came out of socket. Putting on a shirt, like it's come out of socket so many times, but not so much recently. So I don't know what that says about it, but I am prone to having joint dislocation. Another one is poor wound healing. And like I said, in a recent surgery I had some incisions that wouldn't heal and I had to go to like a wound care clinic and all this stuff. So like that could have to do with it. Then it said people with Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, there's a lot of different types of it apparently, but it says they have a higher risk of organ rupture. The most common type of organ rupture are intestines and a pregnant woman's uterus. So when I was having Havana, I had my C-section for Havana, they said, you have a window in your uterus. Like your uterus is like, good thing you're having this baby right now. And if you ever have any future pregnancies, you need to alert your doctor of this. So like,
it's
I don't
thin?
know. Yeah. Like that's what he meant by window. Like it was like a very, very thin part. Like it could have ruptured. And I was like, gosh. Okay. And that's the thing is like, if no one puts all these things together, you would never be like,
how would you know?
This person has Ehlers-Danlos, right? Because like, that's, no one would be like, does the roof of your mouth shred? You know what I mean? Like these are all like so random. Another thing is says scoliosis. I have scoliosis.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how they're related, but they can be. And then it said another study showed patients showed a higher prevalence of psoriasis.
I was going to say you have psoriasis.
I have psoriasis. And so,
oh my
gosh. Stories, I have a lot of problems, but they might be related.
Yeah.
But someone was like, yeah, you can test for it, but like, there's not like cures or treatments but it would be good to know, like,
and then you could at least
things,
right? And I feel like knowing that those things are happening because of like understanding your body better and understanding why it's happening at least gives you context, and not like what the hell's wrong with me, but you like understand it, and you know, even if
it can be inherited. There's a lot of different types of Ehlers-Danlos, so it could be inherited. I don't think my parents have any. They've never mentioned anything, but it's good to know so that I could look for it in my kids, right? Like if I have it, I could pass it down. So that, and like one of the reason your joints are all mobile and your skin elasticity is really like stretchy is because you lack collagen. So like maybe I should be taking collagen, but like who's ever going to tell me that, you know? Like So I think I want to go get a diagnosis just so I know which kind I have and how to treat it and what to look out for. So, but it makes me be like, we would have never known this if not for TikTok. Like sometimes, you can be like, TikTok's so dumb, what a waste of time. But like, seriously, like I would have had no idea. I never would have put all this together to realize that I could have another autoimmune disorder. So
that's wild.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the possibility of having it? Does it feel like a relief? Would it feel like a relief? Or does it feel,
especially if it can explain fatigue and insomnia. Like and another one was like lack of concentration. I'm like, all these things that could also be perimenopause, could also be, whatever.
Right.
But if I could get a diagnosis and then see the right doctor to treat whatever part of it, not that you can fully treat it, but just to,
support.
Yeah.
But there might even just be ways you can get support or things that make, exactly, that help.
One thing I read though, which was really interesting, it was that like some of the people who have the skin elasticity have fewer wrinkles only because their skin was never really tight. So like, but I assume that would mean then instead it just like sags instead of wrinkling. It'll just like droop or something. But we'll see.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a good friend. My partner at work, or my boss, her daughter has Ehlers-Danlos.
How she found out, or what her symptoms are?
But maybe I should connect you guys, because maybe she
have questions.
Interesting. Yeah, exactly. She could share with you.
Because a lot of the other some the way they test for it, like, can you push this thumb and push it all the way to your hand right here?
No. Can you?
Yeah, like that. See? Oh, you can't see from that angle. Yeah.
You can do that?
Yeah.
Oh, mine gets close. Hold on, look.
Oh, pretty close.
You can.
So it just goes all the way right down there.
Can you?
But again, that is just hypermobility. So like, I could just
your joints are just extra immobile.
Stretchy.
That's wild.
Yeah. And then
I remember because you used to. Didn't you do some like silly joint
party tricks for me? I can turn my foot all the way around. And in college, I would pretend like I fell down the stairs at a frat party to scare the guys. And then they'd see my foot backwards and freak out that they were going to get in trouble because we were drinking at the party underage and that I was going to go to the hospital. I'm like, just kidding. It's just my Ehlers-Danlos. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was, I can do fun party tricks, right? And I can walk with my leg backwards. I can turn my arm all the way around.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway, I think that I would have never known if not for TikTok. So this is my ode to TikTok. And I think I probably have it.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. So you think you're going to pursue trying to get a diagnosis?
I just don't know which kind of doctor to go to for that.
Yeah, who do you even see for that?
Yeah, because like currently I don't even really have a primary care doctor. I mean, I guess I might, but
get me started.
I know I'm using my OBGYN because I love her, but maybe she could at least refer me to whoever I need to go to. So
yeah. Oh my gosh. That's crazy.
Well,
I hope that path is fruitful for you, like is helpful, and you can find somebody who can give you a diagnosis or whatever just to help. I have two thoughts. The primary care thing has been a battle I have been fighting. I hate it so much.
So annoying.
Because all I want, we talked, I feel like I've ranted about this, but just,
I feel like we have, but go
put
for
it out there anyway. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, when I used to live in Texas, I had an OBGYN that I really liked. This is pre-babies. And my OBGYN was my primary care. It was actually the same doctor that we all saw. Because didn't you ever see Diaz?
I love Diaz.
I love her.
I love Diaz.
So it's funny. We this must have been like college years, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Diaz delivered Harvey, so that was in 2017. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. So we had the same. We shared an OBGYN because basically I think one of us started seeing her and was like, oh, she's great. And so we referred.
I think one of you referred me. Yeah.
Yeah. So then we were all seeing the same doctor, which is maybe weird, maybe not. But she was great because she just like took time. She had a long office visit with you. She would sit down before you even were in an exam room and like talk to you about your health and like ask you about how you're doing. And it was just like, what is happening? Like it was so refreshing. She was great. And she was my primary. And then I've moved in different parts of the country. Same with Wisconsin. It didn't seem encouraged that like an OBGYN could be your primary care, your PCP. So I've been trying to find
insurance-wise, they can't.
And insurance-wise, they can't. And so I'm like, so annoyed. So I've been trying to find a PCP. I have this person that I found, but I don't love her. She's like also a sports medicine doctor, and she just like feels very dismissive about things I try to bring up. And I don't know. I just haven't felt impressed. And so then I did some hunting. I was like, okay, I'm going to find a primary care doctor that I like. And so I found this woman at this clinic not far from me. Sorry, this is a tangent. We can just keep it or not. But I found this woman at a clinic near me that is primary care. And she like lists herself as a primary care physician. But then she has her letters were ND. And I was like, what's ND? So I Googled it. It's naturopathic doctor.
Oh.
So apparently they like lean on things that are of the natural world for like medicines, but they also use like pharmaceuticals.
Like insurance wise, do they still qualify as primary care?
No. So
okay, that's what I thought.
Well, that's the end of the story. But basically,
okay,
I
sorry.
reached out to
Spoiler
this woman.
alert.
Spoiler alert. And I guess I should have anticipated that. But I think because the way they framed her on like the doctor's office site and stuff, it was like, she's a primary care physician. So I was like, sweet, I found a primary care physician. And I emailed her, I like asked her questions about like how she works and stuff. And she's like really advanced in hormones and like hormone therapy and like also just knowing about hormones, and which is refreshing.
Yeah.
Anyway, and sure enough, call my insurance. They're like,
nope, doesn't qualify. And it's
Why
like, what's the point of having a primary care? Because when I call them when I'm sick, like, we can get you in next Tuesday. And I'm like, I'm sick today. And so like, I just go to urgent care for everything.
Right.
And when I'm doing that, I don't know if any notes get back to my primary care. So I don't know if anyone's keeping track of my health. Probably not, because I should probably do that. But no, I feel the same way, where it's just like, I want someone who will care about me and just like want to. And my OBGYN here is like that. Like, she is. But again, I only went to her because I thought she was a primary care, because one of my friends told me about how much she loved her. So I made an appointment. And now I got another friend sign up because I loved her so much. And now she goes there too. And I'm like, by the way, it's not primary though. Like, if you're sick, you can't go there. So now we have to find, I don't know. We'll just go to urgent care, I guess.
I just want a primary care doctor who is like well educated in menopause and women's issues and like women's health and is not dismissive.
Breach.
That's all I want. That's all I want in the world. That's the only thing.
That's all women want in the world.
How hard is it? If anybody knows anybody out there who's like that, I want. Anyway, sorry, tangent.
All good.
Well, it's kind of related to my last thing. Is this the last? Did we do our thing?
Yeah, this is your topic 3.
Okay. My last thing is also a TikTok diagnosis that I think I have, which is similar. So I feel like most people who are on social media have noticed the trend of people talking more about ADHD in adults and like people getting late diagnoses of ADHD, especially women. And I think I brought this up on a former podcast, but because of that, I've been like following all this content. And there are so many symptoms, same with you, where I'm like, I never thought about that. But all these symptoms that I'm reading about or learning about that can be ADHD, I'm like checking boxes left and right. Like, let's see, I made a list.
Make a list.
I know. So I started, I was like, okay, I'm going to start writing this down, because I feel like, and some of it is like jokey, like people on social media do these like, okay, you can tell you have ADHD if this, but like, I know I've talked about folding laundry, but like literally somebody did a thing where it was like, oh, all of these piles of laundry across the whole house all the time. And I was like, yes, I never do it. And I will do, like, as soon as I start trying to fold, I will think of anything else to do. And then I'll get up and do that thing. But apparently that is consistent with ADHD. Like, it can be, you know, whatever. I will follow down like random rabbit holes that I'll get excited about. Basically, like I will get very motivated by things I'm interested in to the expense of like what is important to actually do or priorities. Like, it does not matter. If I'm like into it, I just like, I'm almost impulsive about like how much I will,
like a hyperfixation on it.
Yeah, kind of like, like the other day I was like doing something and I was like, I don't remember, but we like had to go somewhere or something. And I was like, I just really needed to learn this thing about, I wish I remember what it was, but it was like not essential. And I was like, sorry, I just went down this rabbit hole for 25 minutes learning about this thing. And Zach was like, seriously? Like, we have to go, you know, like we have something else to do. So it's like when I get interested in something right in that moment, I kind of like drop everything and I want to do it right then. Which is weird. And then sometimes I like Canva, like I really like doing little design work, but like sometimes in a work environment, like I need to not be spending a lot of time designing stuff in Canva, but I like enjoy it. So I just I'll go down rabbit holes of like playing with stuff and trying to design. Same with our podcast. I probably did way too much of it.
You've done like a lot of Canva stuff and then you'll send it to me and you're like, I should have been doing my real work, but this is way more fun. Yeah,
exactly. So then they say with ADHD, like our lives, our modern lives, and being so scattered and being on our phones all the time kind of create inattentiveness and lack of focus for all of us. Yeah. So a big component of deciding if you actually have ADHD is if you think you had it when you were young also.
Oh, okay.
And then it's just like perimenopause can also like mess with your hormones in a way that makes, if you have underlying ADHD and you just didn't know about it, and then you start getting into perimenopause, it can make those symptoms worse because of the hormones that are happening in your body because of perimenopause. And so that's why a lot of women later in their life are starting to learn they have it, because they've been able to like self-manage the symptoms of it their whole lives, basically. And then now they're hitting menopause and they're like, crap, because it's getting like, really way worse. Anyway, I listened to this really interesting podcast. It's called Climbing the Walls, and it's, we'll link it, but it's all about this phenomenon, like women now being newly diagnosed in adulthood with ADHD, which is interesting. But yeah, what else do I do? I don't know.
Well, remember, Joy even said something because you were explaining how, what was it? I think you were talking about how you get kind of along the lines of where you get really into something, but then you can't follow through or something. And she was like, no, that is a very, because I was trying to remember back in college, like, well, remember in college, like, I'm not trying to say we weren't like sometimes you would miss a deadline just because like, just because like, you'd be like, well, I made it this far. And then I'm just, and then we talked about, but we talked about this one time. We have this ongoing joke for however many years now, which now we might have been joking about your ADHD.
Oh, the 9 minutes.
The 9 minutes. Like one time, Lauren was walking through the yearbook office where we used to work, and the phone was ringing. And at the time, I think you were editor at the time. Yeah. And myself and our other friend Ashley were sitting there, and we're like, "Oh, can you grab the phone?" And she's like, "I can't. I have to be in the portrait studio in 9 minutes." And it was like this dramatic reaction when we're like, yeah, you have 9 minutes. Like you could answer a phone call. But it was just like, now in hindsight, it could have been, because you were saying like you have timing or time
anxiety or like time, which is something I also see in all the ADHD content of this, like, I saw this one meme or joke of this woman who was like, "Oh, I'm not going to do anything because I have a meeting in 5 hours." And this other woman was like, "But you have 5 hours." She's like, "I know, but if I start, I won't stop and then I'll be late." She's like, "So I can't. And if I do that, it's going to take too much time. So I'm just not going to do anything. And then I'll still probably be late anyway, because when the time comes, I'll just like procrastinate or do something dilly-dally or whatever." But yeah, that example of like at that moment, I was so overwhelmed and I was already feeling rushed. And I was like, I can't pick up the phone because if I pick up the phone and it's a long conversation and then I have to do something from the conversation, I will not be able to do that and get there in time. And anyway, it's like, but like school was such a struggle for me because I was smart and I tested well and I like understood the material, but I couldn't turn in homework to save my life. I would just, like younger school, like middle school, high school, I would just get zeros. Like I would just not turn in homework, and then I would, for no reason, like I don't even know why. I just didn't, because you're smart. Do it.
Like you can test well, and you're smart.
I mean, Jack's class in school, I failed it 3 times.
Jack's
a lot of people
class
failed that
so
class.
hard. Yeah,
it was so
hard.
But I mean, do you remember once in yearbook also? There was a story that I had to write that I just never did. Do you remember that? And Lori, our advisor, was so mad, and she's like,
I remember that, and then I got in trouble too because I was the managing editor. And I think I was mad at you for not doing it. So I was like, well, I'm just going to let it fail and see what happens. And then we both got in trouble. And she was like, you guys are the editor and the managing editor. Like, it's literally your job to make sure this doesn't happen.
I didn't realize
and
that.
And we both just did it. Like
your layer of being mad at me because it also got you.
Yeah, I was like, well,
I didn't think about that. I'm sorry.
It's okay. We survived.
Is it okay? Are you still mad at me?
No.
You don't sound like it.
No, this is funny. I just feel like we did have a patch back in college where we weren't besties, but
oh man, I feel so bad now.
No, I don't think that was related. I just remember being like, well, if you're not gonna do that, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna let it fail.
Fine. I'm just gonna let you fall on your face.
Was like,
and I
you
did.
cannot drop the ball when you guys are the editor, the managing editor. I was like, oh yeah, you're right.
And then I just avoided her for the longest time because I knew she was gonna call me out. And I did all of that instead of just writing the story. All I could have done to avoid the entire thing was just write it and turn it in.
That's wild.
But it's like, I would just get in my head about like, I don't know why. I just couldn't do it. I would not finish it. And then
maybe it's ADHD.
I don't know, man. And then like I had a job in college. Do you remember Pepe Delgado's?
Yes.
I worked there. And then I decided I didn't want to anymore. So I just ghosted. I didn't quit.
Didn't go back.
I just never went back.
Oh my gosh.
Is that, maybe that's not ADHD.
I don't know.
Maybe I'm just an asshole.
Well, that's my other concern is like, are we all self-diagnosing because of TikTok and we're all wrong? But like, I don't know. Maybe, I mean, we can discuss it later, but I was like, maybe that's our next challenge is to get diagnosis. Like if we think really, I mean, if we can even get doctors in that time.
Yeah, if we can get them in time. But like, I mean, I'm curious because Yeah, there's a lot of symptoms the more I learn, the more I see myself. And
Well,
I'm
do you
not
wonder, like, if you're prescribed a medication for ADHD and all of a sudden,
right.
like, clarity and like
Yes.
focus, and I think
Yes.
that'd be cool to see.
I was listening to
'Cause
it, and then I've gone down the rabbit hole of like listening to podcasts about
yeah,
women and ADHD because it's a
yeah,
whole thing.
right,
And I heard this neuroscientist or psychiatrist or something talking about it, and this woman who's similar, older in life, thinking she might have it. She's like, and
yeah,
I just don't want to, like, I'm avoiding medication, like I just don't
yeah.
want to do
It's
it.
like, but
But
why?
my husband was saying, like, what's the harm in just trying like
Right,
Ritalin for like a month and
right.
just seeing? And this doctor was like, oh, you wouldn't even need a month. He's like, the people I see,
You know
he's like,
immediately.
yeah, he's like
Yeah.
he's like Ritalin is one of like those drugs are some of the most effective treatments for
Hmm.
like a mental health diagnosis than any other ones
Yeah.
for ADHD. So like if you have it and you take it, he's like,
Yeah.
I've heard stories of patients like trying it at a party or trying it
Yeah.
in like, I don't know who's taking Ritalin at parties, but like
Yeah.
trying it in one instance and instantly being like,
Yeah.
oh, like I
Look,
feel
I
better.
have
So
never
I
been
don't know.
prescribed Adderall, but I have taken an Adderall.
Yeah.
I don't know if that gets me in trouble
Oh,
to say,
I did once in
but
college too.
I've done
I
it
felt
like
great.
in the past year. Yeah, like not
Oh,
that long
really?
ago. Well, I guess it was like a couple of years ago, because it was when I was deep in work. But like when I had my day that I
Okay.
needed to do all my reporting and all my invoicing and all like
Yeah.
all that, I took one once, and I've never been so focused in my life that I was like, this is incredible. Do normal people feel like this? Because I don't think I have ADHD, but I just think that's a magic drug. Like, I think
Yeah.
no matter what, we should all
Yeah.
be allowed to have that, because
We
like
should all be allowed.
the focus was
Yeah.
incredible. Like and it
Yeah.
wasn't just that I could do it. It was like I wanted to do it. I was
You
excited to
wanted
sit at
to.
my desk
Right.
with my coffee and my stuff and have my tabs open and and it was like
Oh my
exciting to
gosh.
do like admin work that
Yeah.
I was like hating. But
That's wild.
so yeah, I don't know what that says about
I
me,
don't
but
know.
I do think that is
Yeah.
I think you should try. Well, I'm not saying you should try it. I think you should try to get a
See.
diagnosis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's like part of me is like in my mind, I'm like, you're just like on the internet and convinced yourself you had some
I know, it's what I
disease.
feel like
And
with
it's just
Ehlers-Danlos.
almost like a trend and you're just like
Right.
falling into the trend. And but then
Yeah.
on the other side, I'm like, yeah, but like what if, like you were saying, the magic of having TikTok and the
Right.
internet
What
and
if you
social
could
media
fix
is
it?
that I
Yeah.
could discover something that I would have never
Right.
discovered otherwise.
Yeah.
And learning some of the history about it and why it was like so overly diagnosed in boys and underdiagnosed in
Yeah.
girls, like and when we were young, is really
Hmm.
interesting, and makes sense to me. So I'm kind of like, oh, and I'm not
Yeah.
hyperactive. I don't have that
Yeah.
side of it. I don't think. So anyway, but I'm always like trying to finish people's sentences and like
Yeah.
interrupting and like I can't handle.
I don't feel like you're an
that.
interrupter. I'm an interrupter. I don't
Really?
feel like you are.
Hmm.
But no, but I think that you should get diagnosed
Yeah.
and see what can
Anyway.
happen. With some
Well, you
medication.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We should
Well,
do that.
we'll see.
Personal challenge. Maybe it's not the podcast challenge, but we definitely should
Yeah.
check in on our health.
Yes, check it out our
Yes.
health. There's time now. We can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And finding a good doctor, man. Maybe we can do that too. I don't
Somehow.
know. If anybody
It
knows
seems like all the good
anybody.
ones are OBGYNs, and it's like
I agree.
because they care about
It's
women
because
and
they,
women's health.
yes, because
But
like
they can't be primary care because insurance is a nightmare.
I know. I know. Well,
On a lighter note, my third topic is cakes.
Yes.
And I know I've talked to
Yes.
cakes so often on this, but I feel like I haven't given like any like huge
no,
updates
give us an
lately, but
update. I feel like
it's just like I think go ahead.
we started this whole thing with like one of the big things or questions we had was like, can we find income sources that are
Yeah.
different and flexible and fun?
Yeah.
And you're doing it.
Yeah. And like I think your sister-in-law, she was like, you just answered the question of what's next. Like you're
Yeah.
doing it. You're doing what's next for you, and it's cakes right now. And I just wanted to just talk about how I'm having so much fun with it, and like
Yeah.
how cool it is to see what I make. Like sometimes while I'm making it, I'm like, oh, this is a disaster. This one's gonna be terrible. This is, as I'm making it, it's not pretty while you're making it, but then once you
Yeah.
see like the finished, and you get to take that final photo. And it's just like so cool. Like today I made this cake and immediately texted it to you guys because I thought it was so cool looking. And I just sat there and I looked at it and I was like, I made that. Like that's really
Yeah.
cool in a way that like in my old work or in my marketing work, you don't see it as much. Like it's like, oh, I wrote that social media post. But like, I mean, you can look big picture at like the reporting for a campaign and then see like I built this, and I don't know, you get a little bit of that satisfaction,
Yeah.
but to see it like creatively and visually, as one piece of like creativity is so cool. And so that's been really cool. And then very like recently I've been getting such good feedback. Like all the customers are messaging me and being like, this was the best cake I've ever had. So many people loved this. Like 50 people asked me who made the cake. So I gave them all your name and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
So that part has been super fun. And I've been trying new things. This past weekend, I had to make a cake that looked like a pug.
That's right.
That was a challenge. And I did it. And
Have we seen that one?
I don't think I sent it to you yet. And I was looking at it. And I was like, I don't love it. I don't love it. It's fine. I put it in the fridge. And then I would open the fridge and laugh because this pug was like, with its eyes going the wrong way, it was just like staring at me and not staring at me at the same time. And it ended up like cracking me up. And then I was like, you know, I gave it to the customer and she sent me a message how much she loved it. Her daughter sent me a message like, this is so cool. I can't wait till my husband sees it.
Okay,
so
cool.
The pug cake was awesome. Someone recently asked me to make an upside down cake. So that would be like the small tier on the bottom, the bigger tier above that, and the biggest tier above that. Still trying to figure out the logistics of that because it would be so top heavy that even if I could get the supports in it, I would be terrified of it tipping over in transit. So
how do people usually do that? Is it like internal?
I don't think people usually do. Like there are some hanging ones. Like you can get a hanging one that would make that you could do it, but this isn't. It's just for like a kid's birthday party, and so. I was thinking of, because they only need to feed like 20 people, so they don't need a 3-tier cake. So then I was thinking I can use foam, styrofoam? Like fake tiers.
Yeah.
So maybe even the bottom tier is styrofoam and the top tier is styrofoam and only the middle tier is cake. And that way, at least it wouldn't be crushing the bottom cake.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm doing like
that'd probably work, right?
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I just did like this really cute gender reveal cake where it was an all-white cake, but then I put the little tab on the side and you pull here. I saw it done by someone else. Cakes by Marion, I think was her name. And then so I like laminated the little piece that said it's a girl and I put it under the frosting so that when you pull the tab, it reveals it's a girl.
Cute.
And they loved it. The girl who loved it, she sent me a video of them doing it and it was just super cute. So I'm doing a toilet cake that's going to look like a toilet.
Oh my gosh. Why?
I'm gonna put Jell-O in it. Because it's everything turns to shit when you're 40, like you're turning 40. So it's gonna look like a toilet. I'm gonna put Jell-O in it. I was gonna do blue Jell-O, but now I'm like, toilet water's not really blue. So
well, if you use that like those like cleaner tab things, are blue.
But I was even gonna make like some turds out of some brownie and maybe put it in there. And I don't know. So we'll see how that comes out. But no, it's just been fun. And I get to try some new kinds of cakes. And I'm just loving the feedback right now. It's super fun.
Do you feel that's awesome? And I feel like you're so good at it and you're getting better all the time, which is so cool.
Some of them look better. Yeah, especially if you go back to my first cakes. Those were not great.
No, I mean, I think you've been good at it for a long time, but you're hard on yourself, I think. I think they're excellent.
Thank you.
But I'm glad you're letting some of that positive feedback soak in and taking a moment to like just appreciate the fact that you're good at this. Which is awesome.
It is nice. And then I was like, I just wish now that I could make a ton of money doing this.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like, do you feel like it is just funding itself for right now? Do you feel like you're taking home any extra?
I mean, I'm definitely
money?
Getting income. I just need to stop trying to compare it to what I used to make. I'm definitely
no, you can't do that.
It's definitely like people pay me via Venmo and like I have a couple thousand in there from just the cake so far. So, but I am like, should I start increasing my price at all? Or just like, but if it's only like a little bit, what does that really matter? So it is kind of like.
And maybe you can compare the income more from a ground up perspective. So don't compare it to your old one, but like,
I know.
Imagine if you could do what you're doing because you love doing it and you're not, do you feel like you'll get burnt out doing it? Like sick of doing it?
But only
every week?
Only on like Fridays when all the cakes are due that day.
Crazy.
Like Thursdays and Fridays feel a little burning outy. But the nice part is as soon as I don't touch cakes at all Saturday, Sunday, and then by Monday I'm ready to go again. So I get a slight burnout just on the day, on like a Thursday or Friday. But I just saw this TikTok again. Thank you, TikTok, of this. Maybe actually this was on Facebook. She's a baker, and she said, "I freeze cakes. Like I fully decorate and then freeze them." And people request frozen cakes so that even if I'm out of town or they need to travel with it or anything, they can have the frozen cake. You just put it in the fridge the night before to bring it back to room temp. Okay. And she was like, I've never ever had anyone say that it was dry or tasted like frozen or anything. She's like, I'm very transparent about that I freeze the cakes. She's like, the benefit of this, I can make 3 cakes on a Monday that are due on Saturday. And I was like, dang, maybe I need, like, maybe that's where I should go. I just have this like negative connotation of like, it's not fresh, you know, even though I do freeze my cake layers, but I've never frozen a cake that's already decorated.
Frosted? Decorated? Yeah. Oh, interesting.
So, so the only fear is in like, if you have any fondant, you wouldn't want to freeze the fondant, or if you have any like colors on it, the colors can bleed once it comes back to room temp. So there's definitely some, you know, things to think about, but if it's like a strictly buttercream cake, like there's no reason I couldn't freeze it and make it ahead of time.
Yeah.
But do you end up being the baker that freezes? You know what I mean? I don't want the negative connotation.
Maybe people won't care. Maybe I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah. So,
well, it's awesome that you're loving it. And maybe think of it more from the ground up of like, if I could make this amount in a year annually, if it was 50K or whatever, maybe less, maybe more, but I got to do this. Yeah. And that was enough to contribute in whatever ways we need to contribute. Like, would that be worth it? You know, that might be, you'd probably be like, you know, like,
exactly.
Or that's how I think about with part-time work. Like, we have a salary number where it's like, okay, if I can earn this much a year working part-time, is it worth it? I would be like, totally. Because then I could cover the cost of childcare for one of my kids and then also have so much money. And it's also
part-time, so you still get to do the mom stuff and do the school stuff. Yeah.
So, and that helps me level set with like, oh, okay, like that's, you know. Yeah. But that's awesome that it's going well, and hopefully you're making some money, which is good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Feels good.
Good,
yeah.
good.
All right. So that was our first Are We Okay?
Are we okay?
Except I think the very first one we launched.
Are we okay?
Yeah, this might be our second Are We Okay?
Yeah.
And to answer that, we don't really know. Yeah, we're okay-ish. We're hanging in there, you know?
We're here,
yeah,
y'all.
We're here.
We're okay.
Next week is our Are We Really Doing This? Where we're going to talk about, because that'll be 28 days since we launched the last challenge. So we're going to update you on how the fitness challenge went and introduce our next challenge. So stick around for that one.
Yes, that sounds good. Yeah. Turd. Tune in next week for that is what I wanted to say. And also make sure you are following the pod. And hey, share it with a friend if you think you know somebody who would be into us and what we're doing. Share away. And we'll be back next week for more challenge updates.
And rate, review, subscribe. If you subscribe, you won't miss an episode.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
Alrighty.
Well, until
Enjoy
next
the summer. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.